Automotive enthusiasts tend to get their inspiration from what surrounds them. Now, Ryan Kurtz is a fabricator who also happens to own a shop here at Sonoma Raceway. Now, a raceway means, well, race cars, which kind of explains the look of the 1960 Ford Galaxie Starliner you see beside me.
The car is kind of just environmental in that we're here at the racetrack, which is one of the last two road race NASCAR track, and we happen to have a couple shops out here that host vintage NASCARs. And seeing them on track days, you see them drive by, and as I'm watching the car go by, and then I see my car, and it just kind of clicked that we needed to do that.
When he got this car, it had a 352 cubic inch Ford. The motor was tired. And he said he drove it like that for a while, but then it developed a rod knock. And so he's like, all right, let me pull it, I'm gonna shelve that, and that was it. He also got kind of tired of the original mag wheels that were on the car. And as opposed to just dumping money into the body, he said, let me just have a little fun. Put a 390 into it, out of a Thunderbird, tuned it up. It's got 3 2-barrel Rochester carbs on it, and you know what? It's pretty good. Like, you jump on it, and you get this thing to rev a little bit, get it to open up, and it sounds like, yo, that's proper. Like, that sounds proper, and it's just cool.
We bought it from a guy out towards the coast who wasn't doing anything with it. You know, he was a painter, he wanted to paint it, he loved the car, but just wasn't able to, you know, didn't have the time, space, or money, whatever's required to get the project done. So we took it off of his hands and began the mechanical restoration. We put air ride suspension throughout, mechanically pulled the car apart completely. Every part of the engine's new, transmission's all gone through, rear axles rebuilt with a posi, 4-wheel power disc brakes on the car. Some things that just make it drive a little nicer. It's all brand new lines, painted and plated, everything underneath the car. One of the coolest features of the car, I think, is the side exhaust. We were at a swap meet and picked up some old hot rod magazines from 1963, and it documented how Bill Stropp, the Mercury NASCARs of the day, ran the exhaust through the frame rails. You know, for obvious reasons. Shorter exhaust, but getting it through the frame rail eliminated it scraping on the ground that could run the car lower. We had seen one of those at some of the vintage races, and I really just wanted to duplicate that. So the exhaust comes through the frame rail and then out the side of the body.
This was originally a column shift. It was a 3 on the tree. Now, I don't know if many of you guys, at least the younger guys, know what that is, but that was an actual manual transmission where it was like first, second, third, whatever the case is. And it took a little while to get used to, but your shifter was here, not here. So aside from upgrading the brakes to 4-wheel discs, Ryan also upgraded the wheels and tires. He's running big 17x8 steelies on the front, 17x9s on the back, with a new set of Continental Extreme Contact Sport tires. The bonus of upgrading wheels and tires on an old car like this is, obviously, 1, you can fit a little bit of brake under that, but 2, you do get that extra grip, and on something that's, well, 19 feet long, not a bad thing to have.
I think the look of the car is ruined with the windows up. Like, I love this thin roof line, 2-door hardtop, no pillar. It's just a very open feeling. I debated on putting bucket seats and a roll cage in it, but I think that kind of ruined the car. I think that would make you not want to drive it, it'd be less comfortable. So we opted for the bench seat and a low back at that even. So it just keeps a really open design, very free feeling.
Of the car, it's just cool, right? 4-speed's in the perfect spot. Ryan did this beautiful bench seat. Another thing that's super cool, I want you to look at these door panels, because at first glance, you'll look at them and you'll be like, oh, those are really nice leather-covered door panels. No, they're not leather-covered door panels. These are actually aluminum. Ryan took a sheet of textured aluminum, painted them, and then put them on his roller so it would look like a padded panel. That's the type of crap you can do when you're a fabricator. Because you know why? Fabricators make that you can't. He can do that.
The door panels on the car, when we got it, they were just terrible. They'd been sitting out in the sun and just weathered and all that. Typically the NASCARs of the day, they ran this textured aluminum for the door panels and other features on the car like bumper fairings and instrument block-offs. So we were able to get some of that, and I just bead rolled some lines in it to simulate what the original interior looked like. And then we painted the top and bottom red and had the aluminum just stand out. Really long lines that connect with the exterior features of the car.
This is Ford's big old full-size for 1960. It's a 1960 Ford Galaxie Starliner. And think of that name, Starliner. Where do you want to go? I want to go to the stars. Are you really going to get there? No. It's fine. This car right here, this is no lightweight. The Starliner weighs about 3,800 pounds. It sits on a 119-inch wheelbase. And with this massive bubble top, it makes you feel like you came right out of the Jetsons. This is just pretty cool. And it actually kind of sounds like that. Love this thing. The exterior of this car is a sight to behold. It looks like a badass NASCAR that was just found in a barn and pulled out. Plus the fact that it is a Starliner is cool. Look at the headlights and how they're kind of recessed into the grille. Look at the fins on the back. They're not vertical fins like you'd see on a 59 Caddy. They're actually horizontal fins that are splayed out, you know, almost like a 59 Batwing. The taillight's half moon shaped. You've got these little details and these nuances that really take it to the next level. We do have the ancillary gauge pod, but all the controls are actually very cool. I mean, we have these kind of large switches and knobs here that are very correct for the time period. This is what automotive styling was. It's almost like the designers would look at science fiction and they would get ideas for these cars, and then they would come back and they would incorporate them into the interiors. And it looks great. I mean, even on the front of the car, we have these little markers on the ends of the front fenders that are like these little bullseye. Old steering is, well, just old steering, right? So if I go like this, check it out. You see the car moving back and forth? No. You know why? It ain't moving back and forth. You get used to this, believe it or not. I mean, as somebody who drives old stuff for a living, every time you make an input, you're just like, well, I know I'm going to turn the wheel at least an eighth of a turn in every direction before anything happens. You just kind of factor it in. It's what you do. What's cool is that Ryan is a fabricator, but more so than that, he's also a pilot. So having a car that kind of represents his love for aviation and for anything that goes up is kind of neat because he was able to craft something, well, that is just meant to stay on the ground and go forward.
I am a pilot. I was always in love with airplanes. My father was a pilot. Growing up, just fascinated with flying. And this car really, to me, represents aviation. It was a design change in 1960 for Ford. I think car design, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It reflects what's happening in the culture at large. A few years earlier, Sputnik had orbited the Earth, and I think everyone's eyes were on the moon. We were in the Cold War. So the car designers try to connect with that, with these highlight lines, this very long line that runs down the car, and theme it towards aviation and jets. I was very fortunate to have wood shop, auto shop, metal shop, and drafting all at the high school that I went to. Very fortunate for that. I think without those skills, just be another tech guy or something like that, whatever the schools were force feeding you at the time. We kind of went the other way. I was like, no, this is cool, welding, sparks. Yeah, go fast, do burnouts, right?
This car and everything that went into it is a product of vocational education. The beautiful welds, the mechanics, and the metal fabrication are skills acquired by utilizing your hands, eyes, and other senses, and not just by sitting in a massive lecture hall. Vocational education has sparked the imagination of millions upon millions of young minds and encouraged them to follow the road less traveled. They've led to business owners, technicians, and craftsmen who have turned out some of the greatest creations we've ever seen. It leaves me wondering why programs like this are going away. And although I'm not sure what the answer is, I do know men like Ryan, they're going to be busy for quite some time.
Got my first job out at the racetrack building race cars and just fell in love with it. And was basically working 8 to 10 hours a day at one job. I was able to get some shop space and started buying tools and equipment, and then working nights and weekends, realized that I was making a lot more money down there than at the real job. So just eventually got the confidence and broke off and did my own thing. Yeah, we do see some projects that come in that are less than quality. I don't really think we're in competition with them, we're in competition with ourselves. You know, so every project that we do, we try to do better. You know, we've had some roll cages came in with some welds that just wouldn't pass tech, and it's kind of sad, like it's a safety thing. You know, people try to save money on building roll cages, and you really shouldn't. Like that's where you should spend the money.
Everything mechanically has been gone through in this car to the point where turn the key, start it, drive it wherever you're gonna go. It's not gonna overheat. It's not going to do anything funky. It's just going to run.
Did a mechanical restoration on it because that's the stuff that we focus on. The car needs to be on the racetrack, it needs to finish the race, and those are the things that are important to us. The look of the body, the car kind of sells itself. You know, sure, it's weathered and all that, but I think that the look is unique.
The looks of this car, it's pretty cool. And you know, I go back and forth with a lot of people in regards to where you should put your money. Should you put your money back into paint and body? Should you put your money into mechanics? First and foremost, get your car to run correctly. Because you can have the greatest paint job in the world, but if you're broken down on the side of the road, well, have fun with that, right? The only thing that's gonna happen is people are gonna look at you and be like, wow, that's a really nice car. Not moving with smoke coming out of it. He's not having a good day. How do I know that? Well, years ago when I first bought my Charger, I was more concerned with the way it looked than the way it ran. Paint and body were flawless. I remember one day going out to East Hampton, and my wife and I were sitting on the side of the road after the car vapor locked and just, well, basically stopped. Traffic going out to the Hamptons was huge, and the license plate on that car back in the day said Mr. Angry. And I just remember this one woman driving by with her window down and going, I bet she's angry now. I'll never forgot that. Since that day, my main concern is mechanics. Make the car run correctly. Spend the money. Get the right carburetor, get the right fuel injection, do whatever you have to do to make it proper. People ask me, why do you drive a 70 Monty every day? One is because I can. I live in a place where it's allowable. The weather lets us do that. 2, it makes me feel special. 3, when you pull up to something like this at a gas station or at a supermarket or at a light or wherever you go, people want to know. People want to talk to you. They want to ask you questions about the car. They want to ask you questions about what you do for a living. It's a massive engagement piece. And because of that, you know, it just makes you feel good. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good, right? Have the day in the world. You get in this thing, hear the side pipes roar, lay into the pedal, bounce through the gears. Man, this is the way it's supposed to be.
If you look hard enough, you can find fault in anything. And sometimes I think that's just what people do. Take this old Ford, for example. To some, it's just a kind of a rusty old body with red wheels and some faded paint, but to others, it's a source of inspiration. For me personally, I'm glad somebody decided to save it and give it a new lease on life, because in the end, isn't that what this hobby's all about?
So just a reminder that episodes of the House of Muscle go live on MotorTrendOnDemand.com about a month before they go live on YouTube. So head on over there and check them out.
Making the decision to build an entirely new car when you just finished one is not an easy thing to do.
Each new episode of the House of Muscle premieres exclusively on Motor Trend On Demand. Sign up for a free 30-day trial and watch the latest episode now.
Look at the steering wheel. That's amazing. Oh, manual steering. Oh,